I was asked it regularly as a stake president. I was asked it regularly as a mission president. And it's the balance question. And how do I balance everything that I've got to do in life? How do I manage school? How do I manage work? How do I manage a relationship? How do I find someone to have a relationship with? How do I do all this? Keep my covenants, magnify a calling in my ward, and how do I do it all?
Well, you're going to think my answer to almost everything is quit worrying about it. Balance is bogus. There's no such thing. You're going to pursue this outcome that can never be achieved. There's no such thing as balance. You can only do one thing in one given moment. I'm here right now. Am I neglecting my wife? Am I neglecting my responsibilities serving in the church? Can't do it all in the same moment. People stress over and over, oh, I'm doing this, but I should be doing that. Well, you're not doing either one very well. So whatever it is you're doing, do it. If you're at home, be at home. You can be at home, but not be at home. Does that make sense? So, for example, when I was a graduate student, the demands of that in my early professional career, you can bring a lot of stuff home and you're still at the office. You're not really home. You got to learn over time how to be where you are in the moment that you're in that place. So if you're at church and you're worrying about everything else, you're not really at church. And you can only do one of those things at a time. And many people will have way too many things that they're trying to do all at the same time. Now, I did a social media post on this. You may have seen it. If not, go look it up on Instagram. If you've ever seen acrobats, they do this trick where they get a stick and they put a plate on the top of the stick and they spin it. And it's like they put one on their elbow and the plate is spinning, and then they put their head back and they put one on their forehead and they do this. Have you ever seen this trick done? Okay. Do you ever have all the plates spinning at exactly the same revolutions per minute? No, it's impossible. I would suggest that's what people are suggesting with balance. You get all the plates spinning at exactly the same speed. You can't. What do you have to do? You got to get to the plate that's going to be the one that's going to fall off first, because it needs a spin. So you got to spin the personal development plate, not in this order, the service in the church plate, the family plate. I don't know how many plates you can spin, but I'm doing pretty good if I can do 3 or 4, and that's about it. When you get to 5, 6, 7, 8, you're guaranteeing that you're not going to spin any of the plates, and some of them are going to fall down and break. So you got to be real clear about what matters most. And once you get clear about that, then it's a never-ending rotation among those fewer things that are the highest priorities, spinning the plate so that it never falls.
Where do we find the courage to make those choices?
When you really know what matters most. It's not hard. Elder Hales was my neighbor, Robert D. Hales. His wife just recently passed away. And he was our neighbor. And when he was struggling with some of his health challenges, if I were home on a Sunday, I'd go spend time with him so his wife could go teach her Relief Society lesson. And one day I said, Elder Hales, you were a fighter pilot, you were a great baseball player, a phenomenal golfer. You've been physically robust and active your whole life, and now you can barely move. And he had to be pushed around in a wheelchair. I said, what have you learned going from that state of being so physically vibrant to now you're almost incapacitated? And he looked at me and he said, David, when you can't do what you've always done, then you only do what matters most. I hope you young people will burn that into your brain and heart. We all get caught up in doing a myriad of things that absolutely don't matter. If you were constrained, if you were restricted, if you were inhibited, and you didn't have all the capacities that you have now, wouldn't you be able to clearly say, this stuff doesn't matter? You don't have to be incapacitated to get real clear vision about what matters most. So don't wait to do that until you physically or in some other way may be limited. You can do that now, and the Holy Ghost will help you. And once you do that, it's not like you do it once and it's done. You're constantly refreshing and renewing your understanding of what matters most. When you do that, it's just, in my judgment, it's not hard.